Hello again, everyone, and welcome to One-on-One. I'm Martin False. Very pleased to have with me dear friend, and he has ascended in the ranks here in Terrebonne Parish, Judge Timmy Ellender Jr. A lot of people call him Judge Jr. His dad was a well-known judge here in the area. How you doing, Judge? Good to see you.
Doing well, Martin. Thanks for having me. It's good to see you as always. I don't get to see you at work all the time, but it's good to see you here.
Hold that thought. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Judge Timmy Ellender Jr. Don't go away. One-on-One is brought to you by the Law Office of Waits and Downer. How'd your brother influence you? He's just become such a well-renowned surgeon, has a great reputation. What's your age difference again?
2.5. He was born in May '75. I was born in October '72. Okay. I look up to my brother. I look up to my sister too. They're both younger than me, but my brother, I knew that I didn't want to go into medicine. The first time I saw blood, I think I blacked out or threw up or something along those lines. It was a traumatic situation. Yeah. But my brother was very curious, and he's always had the same work ethic that me and my brother always had. Growing up with a school teacher, it's just, it doesn't get any better than that, right? You know? So my mother was the most influential in our scholastic achievements.
What did she teach?
She taught 6th grade. Now, she taught at Caldwell. Okay, yeah. When she was, before she had us as children, no, LaCache, and then when she had us and we were old enough, she went down to Greenwood. Remember Greenwood School down Gibson? Sure. She taught at Greenwood, and it was 6th grade. And so I still get people coming up to me asking me, "How you're Miss Ellender's son?" Yeah. So, but my brother Patrick, he's always had a work ethic and nose to the grind. And he's just done so well for himself. And, you know, he's got such a healthy ego. He doesn't need to be patted on the back that he's an orthopedic surgeon. He's got such good communal relationship with his patients. He listens to his patients and sits there and talks to them and counsels them, which is what you're looking for in a doctor. You don't want to feel like they have a white lab coat on where they're non-touchable. This is something that's very important. So he's done really well for himself. He's, scholastically just excelled, but he's got that down-to-earth mentality of taking care of patients, and that's why he's done so well. Word of mouth. I mean, his patients come from word of mouth, and I'm just so proud to be his brother. You know.
Well, was it sort of unwritten rule in your family? You've all been very successful from top to bottom, but was that just always? Was it by example? I'm sure your mom didn't go around saying, "Okay, I want you to be a lawyer one day, or I want you to be a doctor." It just, y'all probably sort of sensed that. Am I correct in saying that?
I think there was no talk about any of us being somehow doing so well academically. And I mean, I didn't do that. I did well in high school, but it was not until I got into my major at LSU that I really started to enjoy learning, because it was something I wanted to learn about political science and history. You know, just if you had a couple of teachers that inspire you, it was the teachers. It wasn't anything that my mom and dad did at home that led us down the path of doing well in school. And I really can't identify it, Martin. I can't. Other than our parents loving us and believing in us and giving us the confidence that through failures you learn lessons, and it's nothing to be shameful about mistakes. It's a growing experience. You have an opportunity, and if you have the grace, you can learn from your mistakes and be better than you ever could have been had you not made the mistakes. So that's always been the case.
When did you know that you were leaning towards being a lawyer?
Well, I didn't like math that much, and I enjoyed science, but only casually. Right. I loved history and I loved political science, and I had some professors at LSU that were really inspirational to me. and led me to believe that I had a place in that arena. And I graduated undergrad at LSU. And when you graduate undergrad, it's one of the more scary things because you're 21, 22 years old, and it's time to go into the job market.
Right.
So I always looked up to my father, always enjoyed the law, always wanted to know how things work. Civics was a big, in ninth grade at Vanderbilt, was a big starter for me. That clicked, really clicked for me. And the appreciation of how things work and how there's order and how individuals can change things and affect people in a positive way. That's what I wanted to do. And I wanted to help people, really, quite frankly. And in being a lawyer, you're able to really sit down with people and get them through rough times, not always winning, but always doing your best to, if you do lose, explain why to your client you lost so that maybe you can give them down the path of acceptance. But I've always wanted to help people, and it seemed that being a lawyer was the best way to do that.
For all of your cases, including those with catastrophic significance, call Waits and Downer Law Firm. When you were making your decision to run for judge,
Right.
you were subjected to it for so long with your dad in there. And of course, being a lawyer, you got to see all the judges.
Right.
You got to see a wide variety of judges and the way they handle their courtroom. You got to, I don't know if you and your dad talked about law a lot when you were off because he was busy on a tractor, but you got to see a lot and you got to absorb a lot. I'm sure that had a lot to do with how you portray yourself today.
Yeah, we didn't talk about law at all, really. We really didn't.
Yeah. Wouldn't shock me.
No, I
Yeah.
bet, right?
Yeah, wouldn't shock me.
We had other interests that are common, particularly gardening
Yeah.
and raising chickens and whatnot.
We'll talk about fertilizer and how to get that tomato to be bigger.
And that's right. I got an okra planter right now, Martin, and I just put some nitrogen down to try
Texas
to get it.
Longhorn?
No, it's emerald, and yeah, emerald.
Right.
But I don't, being around the legal field and spending 22 years as a lawyer, you make notes in your mind about the times that were positive and the times that were negative in and out of the courtroom, and you try to hone what you perceive to be the best way to handle representation, or ultimately what my goal was to become a judge, to handle things fairly. And so you can learn good lessons from bad examples, right? That's in everything. And also learn good lessons from good examples. But so I've always, in the back of my mind, thought about those moments where things didn't go right, and this is not fair, and this was fair, I like the way this happened, and tried to take that whole experience and be the best of all of it I can be to try to make it better, right? We want to do better for the next generation. So, and I'm sure that when I'm gone, there will be hopefully someone that will learn from my examples, whether good or bad. But I think that's just the right thing to do, isn't it?
I remember covering the night that you were officially elected.
Right.
And I love this when I go cover people who win elections. I sort of look at the ambiance around them. Remember seeing your family.
My daughters.
Yeah. And it was a humble, it wasn't an expected kind of, like you said before, it was a humble kind of appreciation that you had been elected to being a judge. So it wasn't something that, with all the success your family's had, it wasn't something that they said, well, yeah, of course he won. They were very humble and appreciative, and that struck me. That's the humbleness you talked about, and it was obvious to me.
Well, if you work hard, that's the only way you can sleep at night, in my mind, And so I worked hard on that campaign, and it was, remember during COVID, that pandemic. And I got around and went around to people's houses. I made sure we did that because I wanted people to have an opportunity to ask me questions. I enjoyed that. I really enjoyed engaging with people. I mean, if I went to doors and no one was home, that was fine. But I really enjoy talking to people and understand what their experience is with the law, whether it was positive or negative, and what they thought could be changed about it. Now, a lot of times that involves people trying to talk to me about certain particular situations, which doesn't work. But
Right.
I think going into a campaign, it's a calling, you know. There's an author, Jonathan Haidt, who wrote a book called Happiness Hypothesis, and it really talks about what happiness is, and it's really pursuing a calling. You know, there's jobs, and people have jobs, and they're getting by, but you're blessed if you can find something to do in your life that constitutes a calling, where you feel that someone else other than you is bringing you into this position to do good for others. And so that's how it felt. And if you take that mindset, you can't think of an election as being an achievement. It's just a stepping stone to doing good things. So that's how I've always felt, and that's the way I hope to always feel. And if I don't, smack me in the face, Martin.
We'll never do that to Joe. For all of your cases, including those with catastrophic significance, call Waits and Downer Law Firm. You played a little music too, didn't you?
I play at it, Martin.
Okay, yeah.
I bought in 1994, I bought a Fender Stratocaster, and we played at our fraternity at LSU. We had a house band, right?
Yeah.
And so I played rhythm, okay? And up until about 6 months ago, I had a drum set in my living room.
Yeah.
In my living room, on the rug. So, and sometimes I get together with my friends and we just 3-chord jam, right?
Yeah.
We'll 3-chord jam, and everyone's got 5 minutes to we'll keep the rhythm, and you go off and try to do what you want to do. But I'm not talented in that way, but I just love music.
Yeah.
I love it. It just, it moves you, right?
I always knew you loved it. Of course, your daddy played guitar. He played it on the one-on-one.
He's more brave.
Years ago.
He's braver than I am. And we both have. I have an acoustic guitar in my chambers that I'll, if I'm thinking about something, sometimes it just. Some people take a walk.
Yeah.
To gather their thoughts, or me sitting down with the guitar and just playing some rhythm notes allows me to get out of myself and think in a way. So I enjoy music. It's the best songs are the ones that are between order and chaos. They're just beautiful songs, and I've always wished that I could write music and play music, but I just don't have the time, or I'm choosing not to have the time, right? I mean, there's so many other things.
Maybe you will one day.
Maybe so, but I really love music, but I play at it. I don't play music, I play at it.
When you've had a rough day in the courtroom, and I say rough, but when you've had a tough trial, and trial's over, and you flip the lights off in your office, and you get in your car, and you turn on the music, what kind of music could we expect to hear from Judge Ellender?
Okay, well, there's a band called Arcade Fire.
Yeah.
Arcade Fire. My big bands growing up were Jane's Addiction, Smashing Pumpkins, REM was one of my favorites, the Smiths. But these days it's Arcade Fire, LCD Sound System, music that you don't hear on the radio typically, but they just layer their music so well.
Arcade Fire, I've never heard of them.
You're going to listen to them now. You'll hear, they're unbelievable. Last time I saw them live was at 2016 Voodoo Fest.
Okay.
And you can see it on YouTube. Go see that on Voodoo Fest. The members of the band, there are 4 keyboardists, 2 saxophonists.
4 keyboardists in one band?
3 violins.
Wow.
2 drummers. And the band members rotate almost every song instruments. It's amazing.
It's talent.
They're talented. And it just, the music you like is what moves you.
Right.
That music just moves me, and it's just beautiful. In fact, the leaders of the band, a guy named Win Butler, he's from Montreal, Houston, and the female is from Haiti, and they live in New Orleans primarily. Their children go to school in New Orleans, so they've done a lot for the local music scene in New Orleans and contribute a lot. But they're someone I love to follow. Really.
What's your favorite song of all time? We had to get it to one.
Probably Against the Wind, Bob Seger.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
You listen to that song, the lyrics are amazing.
Yeah.
And you can't help but think about your whole life.
Yeah.
That song takes you on a journey of someone's life, and it's an appreciation of time and what you had and where you're going to.
What year did he come out with that song? 70s, huh?
I'm sure, but Bob
And you were
Seger's-
young when you were listening to Bob Seger.
Oh, I listened to, when I was in 8th and 9th grade, it was Led Zeppelin,
Yeah.
Black Sabbath. Yeah, love it. I used to.
You had this little edgy side to you, didn't you?
I loved it. I loved
Yeah.
it. And I don't quite frankly know where that all came from other than just friends in high school, really.
Yeah.
But I used to listen to, and I still do, I love the Beatles. I don't like the Stones too much. I just don't get it. I
Me
can't
neither.
believe Mick Jagger. What an amazing feat at
Yeah.
80 plus, going on tour twice a week. Two of his buses, when they tour with, are nothing but his exercise equipment. Do you know that?
I didn't
He
realize
exercised
that.
every single day.
Wow.
That's,
He was more of a showman.
that's sucking the marrow out of life, right?
Yeah,
He's
he-
something. So, but I've always, I brought my earbuds here, I listen to
Some of your
music as much
buddies,
as I
Joe
possibly
Waits and Mike Barker. See, our class, half of us were Oreo Speedwagon Sticks, Journey.
Sure.
The other half, Rolling Stones and all of that. So we had a very diverse class too. But
Yeah, but the music that you play in your band, and when y'all have gigs, it's very familiar to everybody. The melodies are there. There's hooks in all those songs.
Right.
And they just transcend time.
yeah, they bring you back.
You hear these, so I don't know, but I tried to get my young daughters to listen to the music that I want them to listen to.
Right.
But my 11-year-old has me listening to Taylor Swift.
You listen, I've never listened to Taylor Swift. Of course, I know who she is.
I pretend to listen to it.
Yeah.
But
And
I'm happy. She's such a,
Yeah.
look, what you can say a lot about her, but she is such a positive influence in a lot of young girls' lives. I think it's great, so.
Right.
For all of your cases, including those with catastrophic significance, call Waits and Downer Law Firm.
Hi, I'm Martin False, the owner of HTV, and I just wanted to thank my team because each and every day we come in not always looking for the negative stories. We look for the positive stories. We have so many positive people and events that shape our area. So when you're tired of all the bad things happening in the world, tune into HTV for a little positive attitude. Thanks for viewing, and thanks to a great staff.
This one-on-one program has been brought to you by the law offices of Waits and Downer.